I used to be a ladies' man, but I'm a man now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they used me. My mother said it was naughty, I should kiss her back. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very
Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly is brought to you by Mr. Ned Custom Men's Suiting in New York City. Whether you're a professional athlete, celebrity, or just a couple of softball bums like us, if you're ready to ditch the old dusty suit and stop dressing like an animal, visit Mr. Ned, located at 137 5th Avenue, New York City, and tell Varm Hilly and Lolly sing. Welcome back, folks. Episode 37 of Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. And actually tonight we're launching something new. It's a series of episodes that we're calling the Dust Up Debrief Sessions, emphasis on the brief, Hilly. I'm excited about this, buddy.
Yeah, man. I think we had this idea for a while now. I think it's something different. Instead of having, one dedicated guest, maybe we bring in 1 or 2 per episodes and select a topic, and then we just talk about it, right? Could be a little learning session.
Yes, it's a bit of fun, man, and it's designed. So for our listeners out there, what these are designed to do, you may have heard me and Hilly talk about having debriefs after games over a couple of beer. We'll talk about a topic. We can talk about an event. We can talk about a story, or just some sort of any sort of topic that we think is going to be interesting and fun. And we're going to bring in some past guests, some new guests, and I'm excited about it. So we're kicking off episode 1 of what we're calling the Debrief Sessions. And we got our great buddy, Nick Shailes, back for the 3rd or 4th time. And what a way to kick this off, Shailesy. And we're going to be talking about relaying signs and location in the men's fast pitch game. Welcome back, bud.
Oh, it's good to be back. Good to be back again.
Yeah, man. What a good topic for Shailesy, too. Cheating. It's called cheating.
Easy there, old fella.
So this is our first one of these fellas, but listen, we're going to stick with the program. Everybody out there knows who Nick Shailes is and what he did in the game, what he's still doing in the game. 3-time MVP in the ISC, 2-time ISF world champion, yeah, more rings and whatever. Shailes, we're not going to go through all that. This is to have a debrief session talking about relaying signs and location. Hilly, where do you want to kick her off, bud?
Well, I was just going to say, I have my hand up there. Before we get too deep into it, I just want to wish our host, Steve Mullally, a happy 40th birthday.
Come on.
He celebrated the big 4-0 last week, and I believe your celebration took you all the way to Nashville. How's your trip?
The Nashville trip, boys, was awesome. Last time I went down on a session like that, you two were with me, and same result. Same result, just 8 or 9 years older. But, man, what a town, what a time.
How do you feel?
I feel 46 after coming back to Nashville. I felt 35 going down there, but now I feel 46. But, what a laugh. We had good crew.
Wicked.
And, I actually got up on stage, sang a song again. Hilly?
Yeah. I was going to say, did you get discovered yet?
Oh, they discovered a few things, but musical talent is not one of them. Wicked. Yes, well, thank you, boys. 40 is the new 39.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. Well, boys, let's get into it. These episodes are designed to be anywhere, folks, now between 15 and 25 minutes. So we hope that you can come in, get in and out, listen to it on your drive. Don't really have to commit to a full hour and a half episode. So I'm excited about this topic. Boys, as Hilly said, Shailesy, you're good at cheating. So relaying signs and location in the men's game. You know, you hear about it in baseball, everything that was going on with the Astros and things like that. That's just never to be had. Like it's kind of a shame in baseball. It's considered, a crime. But in the men's fast pitch game, relaying signs. Let's get into this topic. Like tipping signs from second base. Shailesy, what's your thought on that overall, and then maybe into the nuances of it?
Well, you always want to be looking in from second base, but you always got to learn this sort of stuff off the older, more veteran players like yourselves, right? So I picked up a fair bit from you two over the years. But no, you're always looking in, trying to see some sequences and see what the catch is showing down. And after a little while, you can usually pick up on a few things, and hopefully you can relay that to the batter. But you always try and figure that stuff out before the game.
Yeah, like most time, like it's frowned upon, like picking signs and like I know in baseball, I get it. It's a bit different. You're using fucking cameras and you're beating on a garbage can and that's cheating. Like we get that, but
Exactly.
is it not like part of the game? Like
Yes.
Baseball, softball, men's softball, women's. Is it not like, I mean, if your pitcher is getting picked or your catcher's signs are getting picked, like fucking get better at giving signs.
Yes.
Is that? Am I wrong in saying that?
No, because I think, but we come from that camp. I think of we brought up that way around the game. I look at it like this: when there's a runner on second base, why even changing signs if you're not expecting them to be stolen, right? You're trying to hide it for a reason. So, as you say, get better, and I actually enjoy seeing what the best catchers and the best pitchers in the game do to hide their signs. There's some pretty unique things that and ways that they do it, but the relaying from second base, let's start there. There's a lot of information that can be relayed to try and get that competitive advantage that we'll put it, I guess, in our mind as trying to get an advantage versus cheating. And we welcome any of our listeners out there to have their own opinion and challenge us on that. But for right now, there's blatant relaying, and then there's some very subtle strategic relaying, and then there's consequences, I'm sure, of doing more of the blatant ones in the form of beanballs back in the day, for sure. But what are some of the ways you guys have seen, or more creative ways of subtly letting the batter know if it's a certain pitch or a certain location from second base? Shailes, you go.
Well, I was going to touch on the blatancy of it. That's the thing. It still happens in the game today. You see these blowouts in Major League Baseball. It's no fluke. They've got something. They see something in the delivery. They see a pick. He's turned his glove sideways on the breaking ball, something along those lines, right? Like, they're not going to sit there and telegraph it through the whole crowd or through the whole team. They're going to tell each other subtly, all right, well, if I put my hand on my leg or something like that, then, hey, the off-speed pitch is coming. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, we've got a 15-0 blowout. But in our game, it's a little bit different. Everybody knows everybody's looking in. Everyone's trying to get the advantage. And if you can break that plate in half and you can get that inside or outside, okay, now you only have to cover half the plate. That's giving you a hell of a better chance of getting a hit. Yeah. Then if you can actually get the pitch as well, now you know if it's going down, up, slowing down, whatever's happening. Now you know exactly what pitch is coming in what location. Yeah. Now how good are your chances?
I guess if you're the runner on second, then it's your job to somehow, if it's not during that at bat, say if I'm on second and you're at bat, it's my job to somehow relay to you that I got it, I got them, or I got the signs, I got the sequence, because runner on second, they're going to do different things. They're going to chase the one, chase the two, second touch, third, whatever it is, right? Some catchers are there like, they're blessing themselves and they're doing all these stuff, right? Well, a lot of it's for show, but or like just camouflage your signs. But anyway, so I guess it's to come up with some kind of way that's like, like that's half cute, that's not as blatant as opposed to looking up to the sky for a rise ball or looking down, because that's what pisses players off and that's what causes the rifts, and then all of a sudden you give up a hit and then the pitcher's barking at the bench and all this and that, right? So it's finding that.
Well, I've been a part of some blatant ones. Me and you were blatant. But when I came into it, I really got into it with Robbie and Sean O'Brien when I got on that Aurelia team in 2006, right? And the boys, they want every advantage you can get. But at that age, when you get exposed to that, that's when I start opening around. Like, there's a different level to this game. You got to try and take every friggin' advantage you can get. But the blatancy of it from second base, where you'd have two batting gloves, right? This was us relaying signs. You have two batting gloves, one in each hand on second base, and if it was inside, you just move the batting glove to one hand, and then you move it to the other. Like there was no hiding it. But and then people knew, right? And then it becomes that chess match, and you see the Kiwis where they're they're famous for too. And a lot of theirs, I think I've seen over the years, had to do with head movement. If someone's looking, they want to be subtle about it, but they'll look out at the left fielder if it's something. Feet placement on the bag. Might even be just a little subtle raise of your toe to say it's going to be a rise ball, or let your arms hang loose or something. There's a lot of creative ways that you can relay things. And those are things that are kind of developed maybe over the course of a game as this information, you clue in on a sequence. Okay, I got them. Now maybe you come back and tell the bench when you come in, and then you got your partners that, I'll be on second maybe when this guy's coming up behind me. And those are the strategies that get put in place. But what do you got, Hilly?
Yeah, well, you were touching on the Kiwis there. I had many conversations with a Hall of Fame national team player. I'm sure you all know who it is. But back in his heyday, in his prime, he was telling me that the conversations that he had with his ISC Kiwi teammates is that their national team, they had like 5 or 6 different ways that they could pick the signs or the pitcher, and then a system where they could read, like from first base coach to third base coach to a designated guy on the bench to the on deck. But there was like 5 or 6 different ways that they could get you, right? And we seen some of that in 15, because Sorensen had something on Cleary on the rise ball, and he was, remember that, and he was relaying it to the batter. So
well, that's the other thing that the different ways of doing this is not. There's different ways, but then there's also different people, right? When you talk about tipping location, tipping pitches, it can come from a bunch of different areas. It can come from second base. It can come from the on-deck circle, right? And it could be either. If the catcher's moving early, you got guys in the on-deck circle saying, get me inside. Say my last name or say my number or say something.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, right? Yeah. But you got that. And then, like you said, there's some that come right from the first or third base coach themselves. So what are your thoughts on that, Shailes, on the different ways, and what are your thoughts on coaches getting involved with the tipping off of some of this information?
Well, personally, for me in the box, I don't like hearing anything from the on-deck batter, because I'm listening for it. Then I'm not worried about my sequence, what I'm looking for, what I feel like what sort of situation I'm in. I'm waiting to try and hear something from them to give me that tip off to either step in the bucket to try and hit that inside pitch or lean across the plate for that outside pitch.
And have the confidence in that batter or the on-deck batter that he's correct.
That's the thing.
That's the hardest part for me.
If the pitcher doesn't hit his spot, you're screwed as well.
Right. So
that sort of stuff, I'd rather just sort of go at my own pace and leave that to them. But when I'm on base as well, I'm always looking from the first base as well. Like, even though you're not tipping off hitters or anything like that, if I can get a signal from the catcher, if I see a changeup, okay, well, I'm taking off. Good luck trying to throw me out if you're digging a changeup out of the dirt.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing is still picking the pitches, picking the catches, trying to do all that sort of stuff as well. But we basically took that out of everybody's hands when we went into the World Championships last year in New Zealand with our arm sleeves. Mm-hmm. So we had different sequences that meant there was no rhyme or reason to what we were throwing down, only what was written on that piece of paper that was on our arms. Mm-hmm. So say we threw down a 2-3-4. One day in one sequence, it could mean it's a changeup. The next day, it could be an inside rise ball. Mm-hmm. Next day, it could be an outside drop ball. It just depended on what piece of paper we had on our sleeve that day. So no one could pick what we were doing. And if they did start to clue in, we would change that piece of paper mid-inning. So we had a whole different new set of signals. Yeah. So that took
that's what it did.
Out of the game.
It completely killed that part of the 100%. Competitive advantage sequence. And if you got a catcher that's not moving, right, until the very last second, you're not giving away anything, right? You're not getting location. You're not getting pitch at all. Hilly, we talked about this on the podcast a few times. That was the first time we really saw that in the men's game. Yeah. And I know you can't argue with the results. You guys walked away, I'm sure, played a part, but it does fluke. Yeah. But do you think that'll get adopted, or do you think it's just going to be kind of a flash in the pan? It's going to go back to the old school ways of doing things?
For me, I don't know. I mean, obviously it worked for Team Australia. I know the women have been doing it for years, and the women and the NFL quarterbacks, all I've seen using it. But but yeah, I don't know. See, I'm more of like it goes back to putting a lot of trust in the on-deck batter. But I'm more the mindset I want to be 100% confident that I know that I got that guy picked, or that my teammate has the signs picked, that before I swing the bat. Like it's hard enough to fucking do to hit a 80-mile-an-hour rise ball coming in on top of your hands. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the hardest things in sports to do. I like to be 100% sure. Like when we talk about, we watch video and stuff all the time, this day and age of pitchers. And if you look at a pitcher long enough, there's 3 pitches or 4 pitches, up, down, change, and a curve. For every pitch, it's a different grip. There's different muscles being used. The pitcher does something different. Now, the really, really good pitchers, the top tier pitchers, it's very, very hard to see with the naked eye what they do. But for most pitchers, if you're throwing a rise ball, one pitch, and then you're gripping a drop ball, you're doing something different, right? Whether it's just how minimal, how much you minimize that movement, or if you're covering up or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you'll also see, like Shailes, you just said, you don't want to hear anything when you're in the batter's box around the location in and out, right? And everybody needs to be 100% sure, because you don't want to be up there thinking drop ball and then a rise ball comes in, or thinking inside, keeping your hands in and then paint the outside corner, right? And there's some players that just want nothing, right? They want no information, just me versus them. I want to trust my instincts, trust, my hands, and see it and hit it type thing, right? And then there's other guys that maybe go through different waves of that, right? I can say I've tried everything at some point, and then you kind of settle into how you're feeling when you're in the zone. If there's something blatant about the pitcher or something blatant about the catcher where the whole team knows you can take advantage of it, for the most part, a lot of guys buy in. But it really is a personal choice at that point in the game, Shailes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like I said, Gooley never wanted a thing. Whenever we were on second base, you always say, don't even step out, look at him. I don't care. I don't want to know. I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so many pitchers in the game that don't realize they're doing something. Like, all it takes is for them to lift their thumb on their glove on the rise ball, or they point their glove down on the drop ball, anything. Like, one slight little movement on the same pitch every time, and now we've cut your pitches down. We know exactly what you're throwing when you do that.
Mm-hmm. And Hilly, world-class pitcher, right? As you are. And we're all good hitters in the game, and we've all played on the infield too, right? Hilly, you pitching and playing first base. Shailes, you playing on the corners. How many times do we also look for when we're on defense, what the other team might be stealing from us, where we go over and say, whoever's catching, maybe tighten up the legs a little bit. The runner on first base or the coach might be able to see your signs, or you'll notice if they're really tipping things off from second base. And then it just, you call a meeting and you bring it in. But Hilly, from the pitching side of things, how much does that go through the mind when there's a runner on second base of, do they have something on me? Am I giving too much away, or are they picking up on the catcher signs?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like obviously I've never pitched in those big time games, ISCs or like
pretend you
or like that, but
what would you do?
No, I was mostly the Netherlands, Bahamas type pitcher. Those games, I pitched those games. But of course, it's always in the back of your head, and sometimes pitchers just get fed up with it and say, fuck it, I'm throwing it. There's nothing worse than a pissed off pitcher who throws 80, who just gave up a home run and thinking the other team got him picked because that next batter doesn't feel too great. No. But of course, it's always in the back of your head, and you're always, I don't pitch as much as I used to, but you're always you're watching yourself in the mirror, doing different grips. What am I doing different? What am I doing? Or are they just getting the catcher? Like I said, that's where your first base and third base comes in. Close it up a little bit. I can see your signs, or whatever it is,
Well, like the game's evolving too. That's the crazy part. Like there's so many new ways that these guys are coming up with picking pitches. But like you said, Lally, like their forearm muscles, and like sometimes on second base you could see the guys mixing the ball in there and what grip they get. This year I had a certain pitcher. He landed in 2 different holes, one for inside, one for outside. I'd never seen that before, but I picked up on it. I was like, "Holy crap!" Now I know when he's showing outside, and now I know when he's showing inside. Yeah, but it's just different little things that it's amazing. Like we played the game for almost 20 years now, and it's still going.
Yeah, one cool story there. I was talking to Colin Abbott in our daily softball meeting.
Asking for a raise.
This was a I don't know. This is a while ago. Anyway, he was playing some tournament. I don't know what it was. Like it may have been ISF or qualifier, whatever it was. I don't know. But they were playing against Team Japan, and he said the Japanese pitcher, I forget his name, Nishimura or something like that. Anyway, he said he was throwing absolute pellets, and he said and he don't mean maybe. He said he was throwing 100 miles an hour. And anyway, he said Steve Price came to him. Steve was on deck, and he said, "Colin, just watch this. Every time I forget the pitch, was called a changeup. Every time he throws a changeup, there's a little muscle moving in his forearm. There's like a little wiggle." Sure enough, Colin watched it every single time he did it. Change up. So Colin got up, seen that little wiggle, but he hung a change up. Colin hit a home run. He said the next inning he came out with a long sleeve shirt on, and they never got another hit off him after that, and they won 1-0.
Now, see, those are the best. They're the best softball stories, man,
right?
That you can get. And anyone listening out there, those are the type of stories that you love to hear about and love to get the inside scoop on. That's what these debrief sessions are going to be all about too. We're going to talk about some of those stories. But boys, let's quickly recap here what we did. We can all agree that we feel that relaying signs and locations is a part of the game.
Yeah.
Right? If it's blatant, then you're just it's frowned upon when you're blatant, but it's not cheating in our opinion.
It's the game within the game. It's the part of the game as far as I'm concerned.
There you go.
Yeah, and I mean, like I would, all I ask is my guy. If there's somebody on deck replaying sign to me, just please be right. Please be right, because it's like I said, it's hard enough to do, and don't make it obvious that you can pick, because I don't want to get hit anymore. Like if a pitcher hit me 20 years ago because he thought my guy was tipping me off, yeah, fuck you, I'll steal second. Now if he hits me, I'm like, fuck, I just want to go home.
But that's the other thing too. But if you do have someone tipping you off and they're wrong, you get out. You got an excuse why you got out, right?
Yeah. But that's right. But Shailes, before we do wrap it up, just a little plug for HRD Betco. I heard you guys are doing some big things right now down in Nashville at the baseball winter meetings. Why don't you fill in the audience of what's going on?
Yeah, man, everything's going absolutely crazy right now. So, Trevor, my business partner, was down at the winter meetings here over the last couple of days, mixing it with some of the best in the game, but had some meetings with some clubhouse managers and some different companies. But we're all set up for for a big spring training, and we've got some big moves coming here soon, so I can't wait to announce that. But HRD's going to the moon right now. It's amazing how far we've come in the 3 years that we've been around, and we're looking forward here to 2024.
Awesome, man. Great to hear.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man, what you guys are doing over there, and the level that you brought it to. HRD in the big leagues is something we're super proud of you, man, and can't wait to see what comes out of those meetings down in Nashville. But that's it, folks. The first episode of the Debrief Sessions in the books. Let us know what you thought. Do you disagree with us? Give us a comment on our social media channels. Chime in. If you got any topics you'd like to hear us talk about, by all means, we're all ears. If we like them, we'll do them. If we don't, we'll pretend we didn't read them. It's not hard, but we really appreciate you tuning into this. And we got Lucas and Nick here, a little bit of rum ragged to take us out.
Ladies man, but I'm a man now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they use me. My mother said it was not enough. it's nearby. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very
And the lollipops is great, Dalton. The benches are clearing.